Hey everybody, Marcos Villegas here, being joined with the trainer of Lucas Matthysse. This man right here, Errol Diaz Jr. Your man is attempting to challenge for a world title. This could be his big chance to finally get that world title, but I kind of want to take it back into when you got Lucas and what condition you found him in, because he had that loss against Postol and many thought that he wouldn't be the same again given what happened. How was Lucas when he came to you mentally?
Well, mentally he was dethroned. The reason why is because he sort of lost confidence in himself due to the fact that he didn't have a strong mentality to come back to boxing again due to what happened in the Postol fight. A lot of fighters, sometimes they rely on your team. And if you don't believe in your team, you feel like you're lost. So the first camp together with Lucas Matthysse was basically getting to know each other, filling out, generating energy, letting them know what I expect from him. I love the fight game, man. I mean, if I had the opportunity to get back in the ring, I'll do it any day because I love the fight game. So now I use this as I'm fighting. When my fighters fight, I'm fighting with them. That's why I get so aggressive. I forget about everything. I go in a zone of a fight. So they know that. I don't believe in weak fighters. If I have a weak fighter in my camp, I'll let him go. I want strong fighters mentally. First of all, boxing is not a game. It's a fight. And we like to fight. So Lucas Matthysse noticed that. He noticed that I was hard on him. But at the same time, he believed that he had somebody behind him that got his back in every way. If he had a cut, if he had a swelling, anything in that ring. I noticed that because he would tell me that when he fought Postol, when he fought Mikey Garcia, he had a swelling in his ear and he felt lost because nobody took care of that.
And that still trips me out to this day that given how high stakes that fight was, he didn't have a corner guy that did that. Honestly, that cost him the fight.
Exactly. Sometimes there is trainers in the boxing business that grab a hold of a great fighter that has power and he knocks somebody out and then he knocks somebody out. So what happens is you rely on, oh, he's going to win because he's going to knock somebody out. They prepare themselves for the best. They already have in mind that they're going to go in and they're going to win by knockout. But what happens when that shit gets hard in there? What happens when that fight goes into problems? They're not ready for it. You have to be ready for it. I'm ready for the good and the bad. I'm ready for the best and the worst. So when we go into the Emmanuel Taylor fight, I noticed that when he got cut, the first thing he did was he saw the blood, and I sort of saw him, hold back a little bit. When he comes to the corner, I said, hey, relax, I got this. Nothing's happening. I stopped the blood. There was no more blood. From there on, he said, wow, this is easy. The cut was pretty big, but I never let him know that. So he says, okay. After the fight, back to Argentina. When I noticed he was ready, when he was asking his manager that he wanted to come already. When on the previous, they were like, come on, you have to go. And he was skeptical about it. Now he was pushing his manager to come to California. He's happy. He's doing what I'm telling him. Him and I never break that respect. We're friends, but up to a certain extent. In the gym, we train. Outside the gym, when I go to the camp house, we talk, we mess around up to a certain point. But we never break that boundary so that day that he is in the ring and he knows that I'm serious, I'm serious. One thing, this is his third opportunity, if I believe, for a world title. And let's be realistic. If he loses this fight, he has no more business in boxing. Because if he loses this fight, he'll be a stepping stone for young and up and coming fighters. So he needs to win this fight. He needs to grab the bull by the horns and take it. There's no tomorrow. It's today.
It's now or never.
It's now or never.
You understand the stakes, but does he realize that? And have you told him that?
I realize that. I told him that already. Oh, believe me, I prepare my fighter not only physically. I prepare my fighter psychologically. I told him, I tell them everything, even if they don't like it.
So you straight out told him, like, if you lose this fight, you shouldn't be boxing anymore.
You gotta tell him.
How do you respond then?
He knows.
He knows?
Yeah, he knows that I'm serious. When you look at a fighter and tell him, hey, look at this. You're given another opportunity. If you don't lose this fight, you don't belong in boxing no more. And he's like, okay. I go, because this is the way it goes. They give you two opportunities. I've told many of my fighters before, I tell them straight out, even though if it bothers them and they don't like it, so, you know, I tell them how it is. This is your last opportunity. Don't think there's another one. This is your last one. If you don't take advantage of it, there's nothing else for you in boxing. You're going to be a stepping stone for other fighters. So might as well retire. True. And I'm telling them, because if you know the business of boxing, that's the way it is. They give you 3 opportunities, and if you don't take advantage of either 3, that's it.
So would you say, from the time you got him up until right now, you've completely changed him mentally? And that's the important thing there. And if so,
That's what he needed.
what prompted that change? I know you went into that, but what was the one thing that really made it click and made him a lot tougher mentally?
The most important one was the sacrifice that he's doing away from home, leaving his family. If he decided to take that commitment again and leaving his family and his country to come to the U.S. to keep going in the sport, take advantage of it. Don't put yourself through it, because it's not easy. It's not easy to get opportunities like this anymore. And he realized that when I told him, you left your family, you're away from home, something that you were not used to it. You committed to that. Take advantage of it. I always tell them, there's a lot of things that I tell them through the day, and there's a lot of things that I will tell them in that fight that I'm saving in my mind to tell them in the fight if things get bad or if they get good. I always got a plan so I can tell them. You know, for example, if I see he's getting tired and he's losing a round, comes to the corner, I already got something to tell him in that corner to motivate him to pump him up for the next round. And it evolves around family, friends.
I thought you were when you said F, I thought you were going to say fires, like firemen. I'm like, wait, what?
You know, I was saying, yeah, it all evolves around family, friends, you know, and the way he lives. And I would touch a subject in that corner that would spark you up and say, okay, wow, you know, a lot of things.
So with that given, you've seen this guy. It's your job to study him. You know what he brings to the table. How do you see the fight playing out? Lucas told me when I saw you guys at the media day that he expects a knockout. That he feels that he'll knock this guy out. But how do you see it, Coach?
I see a tough fight in the early rounds, just till we figure him out. It takes me a couple rounds to figure out Karam. But most of all, I need to have a fighter that follows my guidance and does what I ask him to. Because when that bell rings in the first round, I'm already watching. By the second round, I already know. And if he listens to what I'm telling him and he's doing what I'm asking him to do, then I'm thinking between 6 and 8, we're done.
If he wins, he finally wins a world title, but he's in a division that's super stacked. You got Spence, you got the winner of Crawford Horn, you got Thurman, you got a lot of beasts in that division. Where do you want to take him? What fights do you see, and what do you make of those matchups with Lucas's skill sets?
I don't look at those guys, first of all. And just being realistic, I can tell you this. He used my facility when he prepared himself for Danny Garcia a few weeks.
Who?
Lucas.
Okay.
And I was totally sure he was going to win that fight. And when I watched the fight again, and I'm like, wow, you know. It seems to me, honestly, I don't know, I could be wrong. I mean, people can judge me however, I don't care, but I feel that if I was in that corner that night, things would have been different. And I want that opportunity. I want that opportunity to go back and get a rematch with Danny Garcia and do it again at a welterweight division with me in that corner. To me, that will be something to show a little bit more of what I can do for a fighter. I would love to. I dream with stuff like that. I've thought about it. Sometimes I'm on my own. There's times in which, since Lucas got here, I go to the ranch, I get on my horse, and I go for hours in the middle of nowhere by myself. I'm thinking about how Lucas can beat Danny Garcia and putting a plan together. I put a plan together as I'm riding my horse, man. And I'm like, man, I hope we get this title, we go back to Danny Garcia and beat him.
I think there's a good chance that you guys would get that fight, because if he wins the title, it's the WBA title. He is in a position where at some point, if he keeps the title, he's going to have to fight Keith to unify, because Keith is also the WBA regular champion. But there's a title out there, and Danny Garcia sees Lucas as a guy that he's already beaten, and he might see it as a fight that he has an advantage in, or I don't want to say an easy fight, but he might look at it like, I already beat this guy, let's do it again.
Yeah, it was easy. I wasn't around. Now I'm around. Now it's not that easy. That's the way I see it. I mean, I might sound cocky, but I think I got better ability to psychologically integrate something that he's never had before. I'm telling you, Lucas Matthysse is the type of fighter that I've always wanted to have in my camp. Just like Omar Figueroa, just like Virgil Ortiz, man. There's fighters out there. I have a camp full of fighters, Diego de la Hoya, that give me that anger of a fighter. They show me that they got the heart, they got the will to fight, and when you ask them, they give you. I don't want to have boring fighters in my gym. Boring fighters. I mean, they're fighters, and don't get me wrong, they want to make a living off of it. But in this boxing sport, you gotta be attractive to sell and be something in the sport. Lucas Matthysse is one of them.
Quickly, 2 topics. You feel Omar beats Broner, but not only beats him, but makes a statement and knocks him out?
He needs to. He needs to, because business-wise, a lot of people can say, "Oh, Broner's done," But coming back from fighting Mikey Garcia and losing a decision, if Omar Figueroa goes to a decision with Broner, and then he doesn't get that credibility. I think he needs to make a statement, better than Mikey did, Mikey did beat him. Yes, he did. Great fight. But I think that Omar, in order for him to step it up a little more, he needs to stop Broner. Because, a lot of people can criticize it either way they want. People are going to say, oh, it's a tough fight because Broner needs to step it up, step back into the sport. He needs to come back and show that he's still in the boxing sport. Or he's done. He's not 100% mentally focused for the sport anymore. Either or, but regardless, Omar needs to make a statement.
Who wins between Thurman and Spence?
Thurman and Spence? A while back I thought Thurman, but now I see Spence. Now you start watching Thurman, and you see Spence. Spence is improving. He's getting stronger. He's young, and he's hungry. Thurman, after he fought Danny, that fight right there showed me that Spence can beat him.
All right, Joel, as always, thank you so much, man. You're just like a plethora of knowledge. Here with Joel Diaz, of course, training Lucas Matthysse for his big title shot this weekend on HBO against Tewat Karam.